The fourth aspect that's very important for archaeologists is organization. Now, it used to be kind of the former trend was that the top individual was called the principal investigator, or many in the Middle East and also in South America, it's the director of the excavation. But what has happened, especially several decades ago, is the PI, or the principal investigator, was an individual that was sitting at a university chair and appointed another individual, like a field supervisor, area supervisors, to bring him the information, and then he would consolidate it, he or she would consolidate it in the confines of their office. Here's the problem. There's a lot of translation, or there's a lot of data that is just lost if you're sitting in the university chair or you're sitting back at headquarters and having the data delivered to you by your field supervisor. The modern trend is to make sure that the PI is leading the excavation, and this is what a lot of the state historic preservation officers or the territorial preservation officers ask. Will the principal investigator, the individual that's responsible for everything, will he be in the field, not showing up for guest appearances? And this is very important, because if there's an issue in the field, instead of communicating with, across the miles or from the university with your field supervisor, will you be right there? Can the historic preservation officer call you on the phone and ask you directly, and you can deal with it right there at the site? Especially if there's a question, or he wants to take a photograph, or have like a little video of a particular feature. So the modern trend, and something that I encourage, is I'm always in the field. And that's the modern trend. A lot of the preservation or the PIs, or principal investigators, or excavation directors, are in the field leading the excavation. And that's our fourth archaeological tip. The fifth tip that's very important, and it seems so simple, but there's so many problems associated with, is bringing adequate water. So many times, even recently, we've had situations where we didn't bring adequate water, and that is so dangerous. Number one, it's dangerous because without water, people can get sunstroke, can get dehydrated, and have serious medical issues. And number two, it just really shuts down the excavation, or you have to have an individual that goes back to base camp or wherever you're staying and get more water, and that wastes a half a day or several hours of them doing so. It's a pain bringing water. Water is very heavy, but it's also the most critical thing that you must have. So make sure and personally supervise. I do this personally every single day. Supervise the water that they're bringing, to make sure that, even despite that the packs are very heavy with water, you're bringing adequate water for the benefit of the entire crew. The sixth tip is sharpening your tools. Make sure that and it's very easy. You can either use a file, or the modern trend is to go to the local hardware store and have them sharpen it for you. Make sure you sharpen your trowels. Make sure you sharpen your shovels. Make sure you sharpen your machetes, especially when you're doing survey work. Make sure that the machetes are sharp, because nothing is more frustrating than having your crew have dull machetes cutting through vegetation, when that is the most critical thing that they need to do in order to identify archaeological features or historic preservation or historic properties. So make sure that my practice is, after stretching occurs, the PRC crew, that they sharpen their machetes before they leave for the survey day. So make sure that you have your crew supervise. Make sure that they have enough water. That's critical. And make sure that the tools that are used for the survey day are nice and sharp, and they're sharpened in the morning. Okay, thank you.